Hello, my name is Dominic Underhaul House and welcome to another episode of Moonbreaker. In today's episode we're going to be trying something I haven't done in a while. I'm going to be looking at a list from the community, and so what I've done is I've gone onto the Discord, I've gone onto the roster lists and to see what sort of selections are in there, and what I've done is I've picked one of them, I've made a slight tweak to it just to make it a little bit more sort of the way that I would prefer to play it, and we're going to try it out and see how it goes in the game. So this list is Gardener Joe based, so it's focused around the poison mechanic. So we've got 3 different ways of triggering poison. We've got Noxie in here, which is obviously going to generate a Toxoid when it takes damage. Toxoid has poison, great bit of synergy there. We have our own Toxoid as it stands, so playing Toxoid first and sort of finding a way to curve into Noxie before Toxoid dies is really useful, because that means we can get that extra attack onto Noxie. And we've got Makwani Thicket as well. So the interesting thing with these, you can get poison damage onto anything and just use your Thorn Vine to take it out. It's very, very consistent if you can get there. For early game, we've got Maximus, Detonia, and Axel to try and take things out early on. We've got Flurry in here, so this is in the original list. The one change I have made is I've taken out Amplify Bitool to put in Shrapnel, so that way we've got Detonia, Shrapnel, Axel Pyro, and Gardener Joe to trigger both Flurry and Noxie, and to get a bit of AoE damage in there. And then we've got Aria and Ursix Scattervine in here as sort of a bit of extra value from Aria, and then Scattervine just works really well both with poison and just as sort of a bit of a damage push as and when you need it. So I think this list looks really interesting. I wanted to give it a go and just see if we can have a bit of fun with it, see if we can have any successes with it, and maybe learn a bit in the process. So hopefully we'll have a bit of a laugh with it. If you're enjoying this, please do like, comment, subscribe. Join us over on Patreon in the description down below. I have got my first Patreon exclusive video up on there at the moment. There will be some coming in the future, just as a bit of extra gameplay with some of the lists that I've enjoyed in the regular videos. So that is a good way to support the channel, but for now, I'll see you once we get in the game. Okay, we have found a game. We are against a Jimmy Thump, a level 9 Astra player. I'm really looking forward to trying this list out. It does look a bit unusual. I did want to preface this and say as well, to PAX, I have still got your Gardener Joe list to play. I just wanted to be able to dedicate a bit more time to it because it comes with an accompanying spreadsheet. I feel like I need more than just the time I've got available for a regular video to record that, so I'm looking forward to doing that as a bit more of a time investment. Okay, so opponent's moving up straight away, and we need to basically figure out when we want to deploy the vines. To be completely honest, while normally I don't want to deploy the vines early, and I have seen people tell me that same thing, I actually think that it might be worth it here if we can try and just move in this direction, set up a defensive position over here, that it might be worth trying to set those vines up for ourselves for the next turn. So I think I'm actually going to do it. I am going to plant a Thorn Vine. We don't have great... actually, we don't have great line of sight on anything. Maybe it's just fertilized soil. This is... I should have used it on our units. What am I doing? I'll go with Detonia. Oh no, because she'll be in the area anyway. So Detonia can just come over here. And this can be our little defensive position. If they don't use their Cinder, I'll potentially try and use the movement to maybe take it out. If they give us an option of hitting 2 things, we'll absolutely do that. If they move too close onto that, we'll just Detonia and bomb that. Especially if they poke it with something. Okay, so they've got Stitchy and Antios. So Stitchy's actually the biggest issue here, which is interesting. Ooh, they did have line of sight. I thought we were a bit safer than that, so that's my own fault. Okay, so we can probably get a good bit of sort of distance over this way. There's a good chance, actually, maybe we could get Zoe and potentially get a Scattervine in this direction. But I don't think we're going to have enough Cinder to activate is the problem, so it's going to be that or Detonia, unfortunately. So if we move into this, we're going to be in range of that most likely. So what can we do from here? I don't really know what our best protocol is. I think it might just be moving towards Maximus and going on that front and then trying to block down here. So let's just push onto Maximus there. I think if I move Joe in this direction, plant ourselves a Thorn Vine down over here, and then look at maybe deploying Axel Pyro. Let's try and get Axel fairly safe in this direction. So we're going to be out of range of this. We could potentially take 4 damage at most at this point, but we're stopping them scoring, we're healing up a little bit, and putting Thorn Vine slightly at risk, but if they want to stop this, they don't get as much damage onto Axel. So It's unlikely that we're going to be able to get into range of Maximus, because they're going to be able to just move, say, over here, shoot this, then run away. So Axel getting in range is quite unlikely, but it's a significant threat if they don't, you know, move out of the way. And then next turn we can probably use Detonia to take out both of those Cinder Spheres, which might be worthwhile. So this takes out the first one, and then an extra real health. Where are they going to go with Maximus? Because if they don't run further away, we actually just get free value out of this. They can go over and heal. Yeah, so it looks like they're going to move here, heal, and then potentially use something to pick up the Cinder if they want it. But I don't know if they need to right now. If not, though, we will try and just use Detonia to blow up all three of these things. So 2 damage onto Stitchy and deal with that. And we can also just put in some Axel Pyro damage as well, which would be nice, especially if Maximus doesn't move again. Shooting the plant's not a bad idea. It's inconvenient for us, but it's fine. That's a waste of resources unless they hit this. Oh, okay, yeah, they're going to reactivate here. Take a bit of damage on it, but that's fine. I'm absolutely okay with that, I think. Okay, so Maximus moving there makes me think we might be able to get a good bit of damage out. But we also might be able to just deal with Antios, which is interesting. Because if we get, what was it, 3 damage and then the burn, so that's 4, 5, 6 and a plant. Oh no, we don't have enough Cinder. So we can use Scattervine to get there though.
Got a fire in my heart.
So I think that's what we want to do. So if we move over to say here, Fire Flame with this and just try and move a bit further back if we can. Not really. So we'll just do that first of all. Detonia's just going to do the same. Yeah, there we go. Detonia can move up in this direction and stay fairly safe, because Maximus can't move all the way around. So if we put Detonia over here, Joe probably wants to stick in this direction. We're going to do the Scattervine play, so we're going to just deploy it here, hit, and then run away. Because this is going to take some damage off of us, which isn't what we want, but it's what we need. And then probably just move back here, keep us as safe as we can be. And I think maybe even just deploy our own Maximus. Where? I think back here, getting that extra health. And if we, in fact, actually, I think I'd rather even just move up here, put ourselves at risk and get health onto the units that really need it. So Antios is going to die. We're winning the race. They've got a load of resources, but we've got, I think, slightly better units on the battlefield, especially with Axel Pyro here. So if they can't deal with Axel Pyro, this is going to start really ticking up the amount of damage we can get. We're going to have to start using Fertilize Well next turn. But so far the list isn't doing too bad. So what are we on to next? We're going to have 5 leadership next turn, so it's probably just a Noxy turn. Okay, yes, they're moving back, getting 2 more damage in. This does still put them slightly short. And if they don't move far enough away, we might be able to get a really nice Axel Pyro activation here. And then potentially use the Maximus and Detonia to sort of hit a few things in this direction. Because this is essentially 4, 5, 6, and then if we get 1 Maximus shot, we can deal with this. So this could work. It all depends on what range we've got. I mean, we could just push for the enemy captain, but realistically, we really need to kill Stitchy at some point, or we're just going to start taking a bunch of damage. Okay, so their own Axel is something we're going to absolutely want to kill. We can't afford to leave Axel alive. So this is going to be our option, is just moving up here and taking the fight to them a little bit. So because of that, and because our Axel is almost guaranteed to die, I'm just going to move up as aggressively as possible straight towards their units. Their Axel is what I'd rather be killing here, but if we can hit more, we will. So again, this actually hits 3 units and the Cinder Sphere, so that's pretty great for us. We'll take that in a heartbeat. So then we pop over here with our explosive and deal the damage over to these. Again, we want to try and get Joe in range to heal things up a little bit, but we're actually slightly out with Detonia. That was awkward. So I'll just move over here. Actually, I may have just blocked my own line of sight. That's very bad news. I definitely have just blocked my own line of sight. So the best we can get is 33 up there. Oh my goodness, that was such a bad choice. Okay, so this is the best we can do. We did get it. That was the important part there. Funnily enough, with 2 cinder spare, I do think planting a thorn vine works here, and we're just going to plant it straight on their unit. And with 4, to be honest, I think maybe even just deploying a shrapnel up somewhere like here. They don't have much AoE apart from Axel, who's going to die, so this seems reasonable to me. We're fine if they want to use Broken Vengeance to take things out, but we're really churning ahead in terms of points. We're killing the units fairly easily. You know, they can use their resources to heal, what's it called? UNDERHAUL if they want to, but we're just winning in different metrics at the moment. Okay, yeah, so then they're going to redeploy that, and they're going to heal UNDERHAUL, I imagine. This is an obvious kill. There's no reason not to go for this at this point. Yeah, so Broken Vengeance could come and try and deal with our plant in the little smoke here, but we have got ways of following it up. So they can move in somewhere, but we are really getting ahead on points. If they move over here, we're just going to start deploying really aggressively towards them. They actually really need to shoot this plant, or it's going to start just getting free damage. That was unfortunate, but it's fair. Are they going for Stitch again? Oh, okay, no, okay, that makes sense. So now we just need to kill a Broken Vengeance, basically. And I think we can do so, especially if we can get Detonia to be out of line of sight or hidden behind something. Or even just sending a bit of damage over here with Shrapnel and Detonia and just trying to go for AoE in that direction. This could absolutely work out for us. I think, looking at their positioning, we're going to just move away from this objective, especially seeing as Maximus is our most mobile unit, and just try and AoE things in this area as best we can. So I think that's going to be our game plan, especially with Shrapnel being able to get in range of the objective and doing so at the same time. So if we get to here, we can hit all these units at once. I mean, look at that damage. That's oh, and it's going to explode the cart as well and deal some damage to Astra. This is fantastic. Absolutely need to do that. So then we're going to bring Detonia over here. She can send her explosive in. Oh, we missed on the cart. That's interesting. So we'll get that damage over here.
Oh, I forgot my lucky cravat.
Can we get Maximus to get a good line of sight onto anyone? I mean, we really want to hit Stitchy if we can. So I'm actually going to move aggressively forwards. Oh, hang on, that was... I mean, this doesn't really help much. This isn't going to be a great shot, but... Get both? Yes, perfect. Okay. So this has worked out well. We probably want to just fertilise soil and deploy a Thorn Vine. Thorn Vine going in front to be as big of an issue as possible. To be honest, putting a Flurry down could be very interesting as well. But we're here for poison. Let's pop Noxie in, and we're going to pop Noxie right in the way of them. We want to get poison out onto the battlefield, and we want to force them to do things about it. That's how we're going to play it. We're going to play it right up in their face and make them deal with us. And now they've lost the ability to heal Astra, so that burn is going to get full value at least. So UNDERHAUL's now probably the thing we want to kill next, because otherwise they're just going to keep healing Maximus. But we've now got a free Toxoid. Yeah, they have to hit this unit 4 times, well, with 4 units rather, to even get through this. And getting a free Toxoid out of it's fantastic. So it's definitely something they can do, by the way. This isn't something there's any doubt of. They can easily move here, activate and do it again, but that's all of their resources spent on that. And you know, the only thing they've now got left is Torian and a bit of movement, and we're still ticking up the points here. So I feel in a very good spot, especially seeing as we've got a free Toxoid out of the deal as well, and that was their entire turn's damage output. So if they deploy too aggressively, we've just got free real estate in terms of the Toxoid getting value, and if they deploy too defensively, we're going to be scoring in terms of points. I feel quite good about this situation, especially with our plant activating as well. So what's this going to be? Okay, so they've realised they need to go for these sort of trades as well because we're so far ahead in points, but that's fine. Honestly, I think we're borderline at the point of even ignoring Noxie, but if we can get Toxoid over there, that would be perfect. So I think the first thing I want to do is actually just move up here fairly aggressively and pop a Thorn Vine down right in between these two, because I think we can get one touching both and just get a bit of value out of that. So yeah, there we go. Perfect. Nice little thorn vine trigger there. I should have probably lobbed explosive first, to be completely honest, but I didn't think of that. I'm going to start pushing on their captain, I think. And we're going to just do as much work as we can on that front. This is going to hit our own units, but I think pushing damage through is more important. We want to make sure we can hold this objective from them fairly easily. Best we got is about a 70% chance here, so we're going to just again push damage over and over. We did get one, that's excellent. We'll fertilise soil on these units. Now the thing we have to bear in mind is that Astra can put a lot of damage out, but I think to mitigate that we're going to pop a flurry down just over here and just really put that pressure on the opponent. Teutonia can just move back here, I think. Stay a little bit safer. That's everything we've got to do. And I think that miss, that's actually a really important miss because we didn't want to hit that. But now they can't get away from flurry very easily. We've got everyone else is going to be nourished next turn. We've got a nice little circle here of additional movement. And we're only 2 turns away from winning the game. If they move Noxie somewhere else and we just get free value out of it, I think we can do this. So we are going to take a lot of hits. Our captain is actually at a little bit at risk here, but we have the enemy captain to push towards. And I think it may be the case that because we're looking at getting so far ahead in points and we only need to get 1, then maybe we actually just try and deal with points next turn. The other option, of course, is just put Flurry right next to their units and try and just deal with it by AoEing things to death. And I actually think we've got more than enough damage for that as well. Yep, that's fine. Because if we can play, so Flurry in here, yeah, there we go. I think we had that win in a couple of different ways. And all in all, I think this list worked well. So I will say, changing Amplifier Bitol for Shrapnel I think was a really important change. I don't think Amplifier Bitol would have done enough in this situation. But there we have it, our first list taken from a user on the Discord, trying it out ourselves in a proper game, and it went really well. So if you enjoyed that, let me know what you'd have put in this list to change it up a little bit. I know some of you like more controlling, less damage. Oh, I've just read Scattervine leveled up. Nice. I do love Scattervine. But yeah, any ideas that you have, I'd love to hear them in the comments. But you can like the video, you can subscribe, you can join us on Patreon. Any support is really, really welcome. But for now, thank you so much for watching. And most importantly, have a good day.